My fiancé fined me simply because I spent 10 minutes too long in the bathroom, clutching contracts for 20 million yuan orders. I listened to my fiancé's icy voice. Taking too long in the bathroom is slacking off. You're fined 1,000 yuan. Her young assistant nestled against my fiancé, his eyes full of provocation. If you refuse to pay, pack your things and leave the company. It wasn't until I saw them behind the blinds, their overlapping silhouettes, that my heart turned completely cold. I called the owner of a rival company and offered 20 million for a position. I only have one condition. Does your company limit bathroom breaks? A hearty laugh came through the receiver. Chuan, are you kidding me? What kind of lunatic came up with time bathroom breaks? I sent over my resume. Then give me a position. Liang immediately sent me a link for a vice president position. Will vice president do? Or should I give you my position as president? You're practically a founding member of Qinghan's company, having stood by her since the day it opened. I tried to poach you dozens of times, but you never agreed to come. What happened this time? Did you have a fight? I said irritably. That's none of your concern. You should be thinking about whether, with these 20 million yuan orders, you can take your company from its status as the perennial runner-up to #1 and finally beat Qinghan. Liang's voice was clear, yet brimming with ambition. Forget the orders for a moment. Qinghan's company would be nothing without you. I completed the employment forms and sent her the contracts and details of both orders. Then here's to a pleasant partnership. Seeing that I was no longer joking, Liang finally asked seriously, Chuan, if you're truly coming to my company, I'll welcome you with open arms. But if this is merely a way to vent your anger at Qinghan, I advise you to think it through. I don't want to hand you the number to position, only to have you stab me in the back over a lover's quarrel. Right now, my heart felt utterly cold. Anyone would feel humiliated hearing that a company executive was fired for spending 10 extra minutes in the bathroom, especially when the person who made that decision was my fiancé of 3 years, whom I was about to marry. Not to mention that she and I have founded the company together and built it into the industry's leading company. I was heartbroken, yet it also felt inevitable, because Qinghan's special treatment of Hu Wei had already given me a warning. I never joke about work. I'll clear out my desk and start tomorrow. After the call ended, Liang still couldn't believe it. She kept sending message after message. I was busy packing up and leaving my desk, so I had no time to reply. But the surveillance speaker above the office accused me, saying, Chuan, phones must be on silent during work hours. Violation carries a 200 yuan fine. As soon as Hu Wei said this, everyone turned to look at me. I ignored him and continued packing. He stormed out of the office and said angrily, Chuan, didn't you hear what I just said? President Gu showed you mercy and paid your previous fine for you. Why are you still refusing to follow company rules? I mechanically tugged at the corner of my mouth, finding her ridiculous. What company rules does someone who's been fired need to follow? Hearing the argument outside, Qinghan came over. She came to my side, leaned down, and said, Little girl, since the rules have already been set, I can't break them in front of him. But as for the fine, I've already paid it for you. You don't have to leave. I gave her a cold look and threw my employee badge onto the table. No need. If you won't fire me, I'll resign myself. I'm done. I carried my belongings toward the exit, but Qinghan stopped me again. Anger filled her face as she criticized me in front of the entire company. Chuan, stop throwing a tantrum. Shao Wei made rules to keep everyone in line. Now, isn't the atmosphere in the company much better? I rolled my eyes. Much better. Someone was just complaining in the group chat that sales staff can only book hard seats on trains when traveling. They have to stay in hostels costing 50 yuan a night. When entertaining clients, they can only take them to roadside food stalls because meals are reimbursed up to just 250 yuan. Anything more isn't covered. Qinghan indulged him, believing he had saved the company a great deal of money. But the colleagues negotiating partnerships on business trips were suffering terribly. When meeting a business owner to discuss contracts worth hundreds of thousands or millions, one meal costing less than several thousand yuan simply won't do. But Hu Wei limits a meal to 250 yuan. He's the real idiot, and Qinghan approved it. I've been traveling for work lately and barely spent any time at the company. Now they've even imposed time limits on bathroom breaks. Twice a day, 10 minutes each time. Her company will go under sooner or later. I ignored the new fine Hu Wei had issued for failing to silence my phone and left the company. After going home, I slept until the afternoon, then prepared myself a good meal. As soon as I set the dishes on the table, I heard the front door unlock. Qinghan entered with Hu Wei, sat down comfortably, and helped himself to the food. I asked coldly, I made this food. What are you doing? Qinghan frowned. Didn't you see the messages I sent you? There were several messages from her on my phone. Ever since she hired Hu Wei, she hadn't sent me a single message for an entire month. Today, because of Hu Wei, she had sent more than a dozen. First, She blamed me for humiliating her today. Then she said I'd made a scene and brought Hui to tears. Finally, she demanded an apology, or she would call off our engagement. This is all your fault. You humiliated Xiaowei in front of everyone today. He did nothing wrong. Everything he did was for the sake of the company. I brought him home for dinner today. Make something elaborate and apologize to him. Qinghan looked at the layer of cilantro floating in the soup and complained disdainfully, which infuriated me even more. Didn't I tell you Xiaowei doesn't like cilantro? Are you blind? Pick every single piece out later. She picked up a piece of meat for Hui, blew on it to cool it, then handed it to him. This is Li Chuan's specialty. Try it. Hui ate a bite straight from her chopsticks. Still pouting angrily, he said, the food is decent enough, but unless you apologize to me in front of the entire company, I won't forgive you. If you refuse to follow orders, how am I supposed to manage everyone else? Did you hear me? Apologize to Xiaowei now. Otherwise, forget returning to work. I'll call off our engagement too. When we first got together, we agreed never to threaten a breakup whenever we were angry. Yet lately, because of Hui, she had threatened to end our engagement several times. The two of them even flirted right in front of me. I was so furious I nearly crushed my phone screen. There is something that needs to be picked out, and it's you too. I roared through clenched teeth. Qinghan, take Hui and get the hell out. You kept a pretty boy and brought him to the company to flirt with him. What do I have to apologize for? And if anyone is ending this engagement, it's me. Qinghan's expression turned cold. This is our marital home. You're kicking me out. I remained expressionless. This is my house. Take your assistant and get out. Hui snorted, a smug look on his face. You dare throw me out? Do you have any idea who I know? I'm acquainted with that influential woman in the investment world. Get on your knees, kowtow, and apologize right now. I might even put in a good word for you. Qinghan glared at me, frowning harshly. Kneel down and apologize to Xiaowei. Our company is counting on him. Without even blinking, I shut the door. I don't care who you know. What does your company have to do with me? Hui was so furious he could barely contain himself, then stormed away. Once I was alone, the world was finally quiet, but they had ruined all the food in front of me. I had lost my appetite, so I went out to eat instead. While waiting for my food, I saw a post from Qinghan. Li Chuan, I'm warning you. If you don't publicly apologize to Xiaowei, our engagement is over. I rolled my eyes and blocked her immediately. I hadn't left the company's group chat yet. The next morning, someone revealed that Qinghan and Hui had gotten out of the same car that morning, and neither of them had changed clothes. Someone else claimed they had gone to a hotel together the day before. Yesterday, he and his friends were waiting by the roadside and saw them. There are pictures. The proof is right there. I immediately left the group and went to Yan Liang's company. I didn't want to see another thing about those two. Yan Liang had prepared a private office for me. Even after seeing me, she still couldn't believe it. You really came to work here. I was afraid I would prepare the office and no one would show up. I handed her the contracts for the 2 orders. This year's industry rankings are coming up. Whether we take first place depends on you. Her eyes held an unshakable determination to claim first place. Don't worry. With your help, our company will certainly overtake the Gu family this year. After 3 years of work, I had plenty of accumulated client contacts. That afternoon, I finalized another contract. When I stepped outside, I saw Qinghan with her arm around Hui. The two of them unusually intimate. I had no intention of speaking to her, but she withdrew her arm and approached me to explain. I know you have a small group chat this morning. Don't read too much into what they said. Xiaowei's apartment had a leak. As his boss, I simply provided him with somewhere to stay. Who are you trying to fool? Anyone can see. You just spent the night together. I said nothing and prepared to leave. After explaining, Qinghan said condescendingly to me, I know you want to come back. Xiaowei drafted a project proposal. If you help him secure the contract, I'll reinstate you. I scoffed. You're imagining things. Qinghan sighed. Her words sounded righteous and proper, yet made me sick. Xiaowei just graduated and has no experience negotiating projects. If you secure the deal for him, consider it an apology for yesterday. Stop being stubborn. As long as you secure the project, I'll reinstate you, and our engagement will proceed as planned. We were completely out of sync. I had no desire to speak to her anymore. I walked past her and prepared to leave. But Hui spotted what I was holding. The signed contract. He cried out, Isn't that the contract for my new project? You stole someone else's work. He showed Qinghan the proposal in his hands. He said aggrievedly, I stayed up for days and nights to make this, only for him to steal it from me. The proposal Hui was holding was the one I had submitted at the company for approval before I left. I was listed as the person in charge. After I left, The project became unclaimed, so he simply changed the person in charge to himself. I was about to say it was my project when Qinghan slapped me across the face without even asking a question. She demanded furiously, "Didn't Xiao Wei punish you according to company policy? How dare you steal the project he made? No wonder you refused to help him just now. Li Chuan, you disgust me. Were all those previous deals secured through theft as well?" My face burned with pain. I stared at Qinghan in utter disbelief. I had worked at the company for 3 years. Hu Wei was merely an ordinary university graduate who had just entered the workforce. How could I possibly have stolen his project? She snatched the proposal from my hands and had her bodyguards pin me to the ground in front of everyone. As they pulled my hair, Qinghan's expression turned icy. "Li Chuan, this is the apology you owe Xiao Wei." I struggled helplessly as the people behind me held me down and forced me to kowtow to Hu Wei again and again. Only after Hu Wei nodded did she tell them to release my hair. Red streaks of blood showed where my scalp had been yanked. Every inch of me hurt. Hu Wei looked down at me and stepped on my hand. "Li Chuan, the people I despise most are thieves. You don't think an apology alone will be enough, do you?" Agonizing pain shot through me, and blood appeared on the back of my hand. He pressed his entire weight down through his heel. "A thief like you deserves to have both hands crippled." It felt as if Hu Wei's foot would crush straight through my hand. The pain made my vision swim and my ears ring. I defended myself in a low voice, begging Qinghan to save me from beneath his foot. After all, we had been in love for 3 years. She had once cherished me like a prince. Even a minor scrape had sent her into a panic, insisting on taking me to the hospital. But now Qinghan pretended not to hear me. Only disgust remained on her face. "No wonder your father divorced your mother. You inherited your mother's shameful habits. Even this engagement was secretly arranged between your mother and my family. Like mother, like son. I will never marry a thief. Li Chuan, our engagement is cancelled." She turned and walked away without hesitation. My heart was already full of holes, and her words tore it apart even further. She had once pitied me because my family was far away and no one cared for me. Now she had turned that into a weapon against me. I even found my attempt to seek her help laughable. Hu Wei held the proposal I had completed and displayed the video and photos of him standing on me moments ago. He said contemptuously, "The project and Qinghan are both mine. Li Chuan, I'm warning you. If you keep trying to take things from me, I'll make sure everyone sees you kneeling on the ground, lower than a dog." I passed out from the pain and was taken to the hospital by passersby. I don't know how long I was unconscious. When I woke, Liang was sitting beside me. Deep in her eyes was a barely perceptible trace of heartache. She sat silently at my side. I said quietly that I needed 2 days off to rest. I needed time to recover, and Liang quickly agreed. "All right, don't worry. In 3 days, when the rankings are announced, we'll definitely knock the Gu family from the top spot." On the day of the rankings, Liang and I took our seats in the front row. When Qinghan saw me sitting with her, she approached with Hu Wei and sneered. "Li Chuan, you stole Xiao Wei's project, and now you're sitting with the perpetual runner-up. Even if the company fired you, even if you're determined to throw your life away, you could at least choose a better company." "Oh, I forgot. Our company is #1. You couldn't find a better place to go than here." Hu Wei sneered as well. "Once the Gu family retains first place this year and works with that investor, you can watch us monopolize the market while you go home and eat dirt." Seeing them made me sick. My scalp prickled repeatedly. After calling off our engagement, Qinghan stopped hiding anything. She openly put her arm around Hu Wei. "Xiao Wei's work skills are far superior to yours. He effortlessly designed a new collaboration. The proposal is for an interprovincial partnership with City A. This time, you won't get another chance to steal his work." I laughed to myself. Could she be talking about that piece of trash I threw in the bin? I never knew Hu Wei had a habit of rummaging through garbage. If Qinghan really carried out that plan, I couldn't wait to watch the show. The bosses of other companies saw Qinghan and came over to flatter her. "Is there any point in having this award? As long as President Gu is here, first place is obviously going to the Gu family." Exactly. This Best Enterprise trophy is nothing difficult for President Gu. The only difference is that this year, there's a very good chance the Gu family will receive an investment from that person. With his support, their standing in the industry can only rise. Then, of course, first place will go to the Gu family. They glanced at the seats Liang and I occupied. Unlike some people who are useless no matter how close to the front they sit, this is about earning your place through ability, not about who sits closest to the front and claims the glory of being #1. The flattery made Qinghan even more smug. She left surrounded by them. Liang and I watched them quietly. We weren't disturbed in the slightest. After all, it was hard to say who would take first place this year. The proceedings continued as usual. The host began presenting the awards. Qinghan even stood up ahead of time and walked toward the stage. She was simply waiting for her name to be called. Through the dim lighting, she mockingly made a contemptuous gesture at Liang. But when the host loudly announced the award recipient, everyone present was stunned. Congratulations to Liang for taking first place in the industry this year. She also receives the opportunity to meet with Mr. Shi. Qinghan had already stepped onto the stairs. When she heard Liang's name, her mind went blank. Only when Liang approached her did she notice the elegant smile on her face, while her eyes held triumph and contempt. She said softly, "President Gu, I'm sorry we took first place from you this year, but don't worry. You'll never have another chance to overtake us. After all, you personally threw away your trump card. Could you move aside now and let me accept my award?" Qinghan backed away in a daze, letting Liang onto the stage. It took her a while to recover before she rushed over and demanded, "Chuan, did you rig this somehow? How could my company not be number one?" She looked at her company's revenue and the gap between it and Liang's company. "Did you steal my company's projects to give her first place?" I said nothing and quietly watched her lose her mind. But Qinghan thought that her words had hit a nerve, leaving me guilty to speak. She loudly demanded another verification of the two companies' sales and profits. Some people below grumbled unhappily. Seriously, she was number one before, and no one demanded another review. Now that someone else took first place, she refuses to accept it. Is she really that unable to accept defeat? Qinghan's face turned red, then white at his words. Even those who had flattered her moments ago now turned around and blamed her. "President Gu, are you just a sore loser? The gap isn't small either. Aren't you just humiliating yourself?" "Exactly. The figures were fine when you won first place before. But now that someone else has won, you want another review. Why would President Yan waste time indulging you?" Liang was perfectly calm. "I don't mind at all. If President Gu thinks another review is necessary, let her have one. Let her accept the result completely." The staff brought up both companies' profits backstage. Qinghan stared at the screen without blinking, trying to find the slightest discrepancy. But the figures showed no discrepancies at all. She was about to give up when Hu Wei pointed out the two orders I had taken from the company. "Something's wrong with these two projects. They were clearly approved by President Gu. How could they belong to Liang's company?" After looking closely, Qinghan recognized them. She sighed in relief and pointed confidently at the two orders as she challenged me. "Chuan, what else can you possibly say?" I pulled up the archived proposals on my phone. They even contained the real-time drafts. I personally designed both projects and negotiated both deals myself. Besides, I had already resigned from the Gu family. Hu Wei calculated the timing and said loudly, "You were clearly President Gu's employee at the time. You were fired, so these two orders should belong to us." Qinghan put an arm around Hu Wei, as if she had found someone to rely on. She demanded angrily, "Even if I'm calling off our engagement, but these two orders, worth tens of millions, you can't steal them and give them to someone else." She spouted nonsense, and the mood in the room once again turned to contempt. I brought out the surveillance footage I had copied beforehand. When I went to Qinghan for approval of this project, she was still teaching Hu Wei how to use office software. She never even signed off on it. I negotiated the deal myself. When I returned, I was fired before I could even file the paperwork. These two orders were entirely my own. The video showed the overlapping silhouettes of two people behind the blinds. Hu Wei and Qinghan hurriedly shut off the video. With no other evidence, they swallowed their anger and prepared to leave in angry silence. But Liang stopped them. "Have you finished slandering us? Now let's discuss the project you stole from Chuan." She brought the project, proposal drafts, and detailed design drawings she had collected beforehand. "This project was a contract Chuan signed with Yuefeng Group, yet you included it in your revenue. Shouldn't you return it to us?" By then, Qinghan could no longer save face. She said furiously, "This is Xiao Wei's project. Chuan stole it from us." Liang produced the sketches, documents, and presentation. "I wonder, President Gu, do you have any drafts of your own?" She held out her hand toward Hu Wei. "Xiao Wei, didn't you say you worked on it for today's and tonight's? Show them the evidence." Hu Wei felt guilty, but pretended to be calm. Only a thief would keep drafts around. "I always finish my work in one go." Everyone present laughed mockingly. I laughed too. "Are you saying you completed more than 50 pages of documents and 40 PowerPoint slides, all at once, without a single draft or sketch?" Hu Wei leaned close and whispered, "Chuan, I told you, if you dare compete with me for this project, I'll post those embarrassing photos of you all over the internet." I immediately played the surveillance footage from that day, along with her threats. Luckily, the company's cameras had excellent audio. Everything you said was recorded very clearly. With no leverage left to threaten me, Hu Wei fled in panic. Qinghan still didn't know Hu Wei had deceived her. With an ugly expression, she admitted that she was indeed inferior to Liang, then left. A trace of venom filled her eyes as she looked at me. Liang and I left to discuss the investment with the investor. Qinghan, meanwhile, went back for Hu Wei. She angrily grabbed Hu Wei by the throat. Didn't you say you spent sleepless days creating that proposal? Hu Wei, you actually lied to me. Hu Wei's face turned red as Qinghan choked her. She struggled to force the words out. Qinghan, let go of me. I can arrange a meeting with Mr. Shi. I've met him several times before. Only then did Qinghan release her grip. Clenching her fist, she thought that as long as she got ahead of Liang and secured the investment tycoon, Mr. Shi, it wouldn't matter if she gave up first place today. Hu Wei paid an assistant to gather information about Shiwun. She waited in the private room's restroom ahead of time. Whenever Shiwun went out, he reserved the entire venue. The restroom was their only place to hide. When the time was right, Qinghan and Hu Wei knocked and entered. But inside the private room, they saw me bringing Liang to dinner with Shiwun. Qinghan looked utterly incredulous. Li Chuan, you already met him yesterday. How shameless of you to come back and steal our business again. I already gave you that 20 million deal. Why are you still pestering President Shi? I thought her appearance made no sense. Hu Wei went over to ingratiate herself with the investor first. Mr. Shi, you remember me. I met you when I was in school. When I graduated this year, you came to my school and turned my graduation tassel. Hearing Hu Wei's words, Qinghan felt certain they had this in the bag. Usually, only a close teacher is invited to turn a graduate's tassel. Hu Wei really did seem close to Shiwun. She said directly, President Shi, you know our Xiaowei. So I'll be frank with you. Li Chuan, the man beside you, is a fraud. He worked at my company for 3 years. After breaking up with me, he immediately seduced the owner of our rival company. He took my 20 million project straight to her company. Then he used backroom deals to make her company #1 this year. Since this is your first time here, I don't want someone like him to deceive you. You can look into the industry's past records. Our company held first place every previous year. Shiwun suddenly became interested. You mean it? Are those two really together? Seeing an opening, Qinghan made her story sound even more convincing. She said I stole 3 of their orders to become #1 in the industry. She claimed that after my home developed a leak, I invited Liang to move out with me. She also said I used work as an excuse to act lovey-dovey with her. She pinned everything she and Hu Wei had done on me. Meanwhile, she portrayed herself as completely innocent. I was utterly speechless at her nonsense and simply hurled the cup in my hand across the room. Enough, Qinghan. Even slander has its limits. You were the one who cheated on me with Hu Wei. Stop twisting the truth. I told Shiwun not to believe her lies. He nodded and ordered someone to escort Qinghan and Hu Wei out. Qinghan couldn't believe he trusted me after I said only one sentence. Struggling, she said, President Shi, you have to believe me. They only want to trick you into investing in their company. Shiwun said casually, if you want to invest, then invest in our company. Qinghan saw that nothing she said would work. She shoved Hu Wei and told her to explain. You don't believe me. But surely you believe Xiaowei, right? Hu Wei insisted confidently. Everything Qinghan said is true. Li Chuan switched to another company and even slept his way to the top. Yet the atmosphere around him grew colder and colder. I told the servers to take them outside immediately. Qinghan shouted as she struggled. President Shi, considering your relationship with Xiaowei, we would have no reason to lie to you. What relationship? He looked at Hu Wei. He thought for a long time, but still couldn't remember. His assistant finally reminded him. Oh, the student your group sponsored, right? His expression darkened as he ordered the servers to remove them. Seeing that he remembered her, Hu Wei shouted instead. President Shi, I swear on my honor. You can only profit by partnering with the Gu family. Li Chuan is a scoundrel. His words can't be trusted. Shiwun frowned and told them to stop. Hu Wei thought she had finally convinced him, but Shiwun's assistant slapped her across the mouth. Shiwun's expression turned dark and terrifying, with menace in his voice. I've put up with you long enough. Even slander has its limits. If I hear anyone say another bad word about my son, you'll pay back every penny of the funding you received. Your company won't be operating much longer, either. Qinghan suddenly looked up at me and murmured, What? Li Chuan is your son, but doesn't he have the surname Li? I looked at her expressionlessly. I took my mother's surname. Qinghan stopped struggling and let the servers drag them out. Before they left, they kept saying, How could this be? My father had indeed been partly enjoying the spectacle. When I asked him to return home, I told him it would be for this very conference, where he could meet my girlfriend and invest in my company while meeting her parents. But Hu Wei's arrival ruined all my plans. I no longer wanted him to meet Qinghan, so I hurried Liang into delivering results. Yesterday, she spent the entire afternoon prying, but couldn't get a single word out of me. After hearing Qinghan explain everything today, Liang had a general idea of what had happened. After dinner, Yan Liang told my father about the company's prospects and the profit potential of its recent projects. I let him decide for himself whether to invest in the company. After considering the company's prospects, he decided to invest. Before leaving, my father quietly pulled Yan Liang aside for a private conversation. Only then did he reluctantly say goodbye to me. I neglected your mother while pursuing money back then. Now, no matter how hard I try, I can't win her back. I hear she's in the Maldives now. I'm leaving. Chuan. Call me if you need anything. He even called Yan Liang privately. Whether this works out is up to you. Xiao Yan. Alright, uncle. I'll do my best. What are you talking about? Yan Liang's smile faded. Uncle said he hoped the company would grow stronger and bigger and teach Qinghan a lesson. After returning home, Qinghan locked herself in her room for 2 days. Recalling what Yan Liang had said, that she had given away her own trump card, Qinghan grew angrier and angrier. She had built the company entirely on her own from the beginning. What right did Yan Liang have to call me her company's trump card? Qinghan called Hu Wei over and held the proposal she had designed for the new interprovincial medical partnership. She assessed its feasibility and profits, quietly sensing that something was wrong. But Yan Liang's company had made major moves in recent days, and Qinghan had no time to think it over. She took the completed proposal straight to a province. The flight took 7 hours. It was a long journey, but the negotiations went unusually smoothly. She barely had to say a word. After returning, she told Hu Wei that negotiating contracts on business trips was so easy, that sales staff shouldn't be paid so much. Cut their salaries proportionally. After the adjustment, some employees simply couldn't take it anymore and resigned. They also complained on recruitment apps about the company's absurd policies. Bathroom breaks were timed. Business trips only reimbursed hard-seat train fares. The budget for entertaining clients was only 250 yuan. And so on. It even escalated to the point where they turned off the water coolers so employees couldn't use the bathroom, since jobs were genuinely difficult to find. Some employees continued to endure it. When the deadline to deliver to City A arrived, Qinghan brought over the large truck she had prepared and loaded the medical reagents onto it. She was just waiting to happily pocket the final payment once they arrived. The client was willing to pay 3 times the cost for this deal. Qinghan had originally thought that securing a 50 million yuan contract would let her catch up with Yan Liang. Now, she would overtake her outright. Once the deal was completed, they would pay 150 million yuan. Qinghan waited for the client's call, but the news left her frozen in place. Despite the 40-degree heat, 2/3 of the reagents carried in more than 50 trucks had failed and become unusable because of temperature control problems. When I heard, I could only think how foolish Qinghan was. She had only seen the immediate profit. The client was indeed a large company with enormous demand for medical products. But lately, temperatures had reached 40 degrees every day. Even if refrigerated truck drivers transported the reagents and drove for more than 20 hours without sleep or rest, there was still a high chance of temperature control failure. Qinghan's company would have to bear not only all the losses, but also pay the client a penalty for breaching the contract. Their 50 million yuan advance had all been spent on production and shipping, as well as the company's recent expenses. The compensation would double from 150 million to 300 million yuan. Qinghan not only failed to receive the money she expected, but had to pay out more herself. After the company lost everything and went bankrupt, she had to surrender her remaining assets because she couldn't pay the employees' wages. Qinghan blamed Hu Wei, saying the plan had been hers. Hu Wei defended herself. It's not my fault. I found this by digging through Li Chuan's trash. He deliberately set us up. By then, Qinghan had completely lost her idealized view of Hu Wei. She thought Hu Wei was an idiot and was too furious to look at her again. She had someone send Hu Wei somewhere she would never return from. Qinghan became haggard almost overnight. In just a few months, she fell from the heights to rock bottom. She remembered what Yan Liang had said before accepting her award. So she knelt every day outside the home we had once shared, begging for forgiveness. But I had no desire to see her and simply moved to another residence. Qinghan then went to the company to stop me again. Seeing how unstable she seemed, Yan Liang asked if I wanted her to find me some bodyguards. I didn't think she would do anything extreme, so I refused. Qinghan shouted my name in front of everyone. Her eyes were rimmed with red. Worried she would disrupt everyone else's work, I went to see her. The heavy smell of alcohol clung to Qinghan. Her eyes held a disturbing fixation as she looked at me. She stubbornly dug her fingers into my arm. Chuan, why did you leave me? I know I can't manage without you. You're my fiancé. Come back and stay with me forever. I can still make a comeback. I shook off her hand. Calmly, I said, Qinghan, we have nothing to do with each other anymore. You were the one who fired me and broke off our engagement. I know I was wrong now. Give me one more chance. Please forgive me. I didn't want to say anything more to her. I said no and turned to leave. But after only a few steps, someone struck me with a stick, knocking me unconscious. When I woke, Gu Qinghan had tied me up. She had taken me back to our former marital home and poured gasoline over the carpet. With a crazed look on her face, she stared at the candle flickering in her hand. Chuan, I told you I know I was wrong. Wouldn't it be wonderful if you married me? To keep her calm, I had no choice but to go along with her. Qinghan, I agree. We'll get married. Now throw away the lighter. She stared at me for a while, then suddenly began to laugh. I knew you were lying to me. Liar. You spineless bastard who changes sides with the wind. Gu Qinghan threw the candle onto the floor. A roaring fire erupted instantly. I stared in horror at the flames surrounding us. Gu Qinghan, if you want to die, do it alone. I don't want to die. But she seemed to have passed out from intoxication, lying on the floor and waiting for death. Gu Qinghan had locked the door tight. My hands and feet were bound, leaving me no way to call for help. In the end, I inhaled too many toxic fumes and passed out. When I woke, Liang and I were lying in the same hospital room. The news reported the full story and its outcome. Gu Qinghan had deliberately set the fire to take revenge on me. Liang rescued me, but suffered burns herself. She had even leaped across from the neighboring balcony and carried me out. Through tear-filled eyes, I asked, that was the 15th floor. It was so dangerous. Why didn't you wait for the fire department? Liang coughed several times, looking uncomfortable. Your mother said that if I wanted to become her daughter-in-law, I had to protect you first. Besides, the situation was critical. Who knew when the fire department would arrive? Your safety mattered more to me. Deeply moved, I gently embraced her. After Liang recovered, we spent more time together. She confessed her feelings, and we made our relationship official. On the day of Gu Qinghan's funeral, Liang went over to pay her respects. She said she was thanking Gu Qinghan for doing her the favor of not marrying me, which had allowed her to fulfill her own wish. When my family and the Yan family discussed our wedding, my father looked at my mother, whom he hadn't seen in years, and gave Liang a knowing look. Well done.